Hello, hello, hello. Happy Tuesday. I don't know about wherever you are, but it's a rainy night in Georgia. But we're going to get through it. We're glad to be in the number. As I say one more time, we're going to be talking about women's health, women's heart health. This is Go Red for Women Month. And what better time to talk about this topic? Because as women, we normally don't take care of ourselves like we should in advance. We wait till something happens. And so we're going to talk tonight about women health, women in red. That's why we have on our red.
Yeah.
My guest tonight is Miss Selena Soul Davis of Augusta, Georgia. She is a voice that you hear probably every day if you listen to 100.9 Perry Broadcasting, and she's also an educator with our school systems here in Richmond County. And she has firsthand experience about this issue. And so we're glad to have Selena join us and share her story and share information. She's been sharing all month at different events. And so wanted to definitely have her join us here on Tuesday Talk. So welcome, Selena.
Thank you. Before we get started, Tonya, I want to tell you there's some very, very alarming statistics about heart disease. So I have some here. About 600,000 people die of heart disease in the United States every year. That's 1 in 4 deaths. Also, heart disease is the leading cause of deaths for both men and women. That's more than half of the deaths due to heart disease in 2009. And also coronary heart disease, the most common type of heart disease, killing nearly 380,000 people annually. Also, every year, 720,000 Americans have a heart attack. Of these, 515,000 have their first heart attack, and 205,000, it happens in people who've already had a heart attack, or at least 1 or 2. Also, here's some unsettling statistics. Cardiovascular disease kills 50,000 African American women annually.
Wow.
Of African American women ages 20 and older, 49% have heart disease. 1 in 5 African American women believe that she is personally at risk, and only 52% of African American women are aware of the signs and symptoms of a heart attack. Only 36% of African American women know that heart disease is their greatest health risk.
That's scary.
That's very,
as
very
an
scary.
African American woman, that's very scary. I had a scare last week, and I don't claim it. They said, that's how I put it. They said that I had congestive heart failure. I went to the emergency room last Monday, and I'm hard-headed, and I know I don't go to the doctor like I should, but my legs were swollen. And I've had that issue happen before, but this was 3 weeks straight, and it wouldn't go away. And then I was having trouble breathing. I kept coughing like crazy. And I'm like, what in the world?
What's going on?
And but what made me go is my mom recently passed away last April of colon cancer, and she was at stage 4 by the time she found out. And I'm like, I can't let that be my story. Like, not going to the doctor, not knowing what's going on with my body. So I went in the ER for 6 hours, and they came back. They were like, well, Miss Gibbons, you got to take Lasix. And so Yvette Davis was with me, and she's like, that's congestive heart failure. I had to take that. I said, no, it's not. That's not what they said. Well, after she left, that's what the doctor came in and said. And I was like, ugh. He was like, take this pill for 5 days, do a follow-up with your primary care, and then you'll follow a plan. I was like, so I got home. I was like, okay, Lord, listen. I don't have time for this. I'm not claiming this, but I'm going to do what they told me to do. And I know my problem off the bat. I'm a salt eater. I put salt on everything. I eat my food. I don't even taste it before I'm putting salt on it. And so, of course, Yvette always fusses, and all my friends who know me fuss. But now I'm like, whew, oh, okay, so that was scary. So I was like, okay, so I'm trying to cut salt. And then I know you don't cut it all the way out, but I don't pick up the salt shaker anymore. Now it's pepper, and I'm trying to find natural seasonings, and so to get away from that stuff. It is. It's
a life-changing experience.
Oh, yes, Lord, it is. And it's a struggle when you're so used to habit. And we are creatures of habit, especially as women. But we have to think about ourselves first, because and one of my friends' mom, she saw me and she was like, oh, you the pot calling the kettle black, because I'm always fussing at my friends. You need to go get checked out. You need to make sure you're doing this. And then I don't do the same thing. So I was like, okay, Lord, so this is a wake-up call. And now I know that I have to make some lifestyle changes. And now I think that's what it's about. But the scary part is not knowing the symptoms of like a heart attack. And for women, especially Black women, it's totally different than everybody else. So what are the symptoms that we should be looking out for?
Well, you know what, Tonya, I wrote this poem and I'm gonna give it to you.
Okay.
And I'm gonna speak it, and I want you to really, really take this in. I want you to really listen to it because this will explain everything that you're asking.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead. This is called a story. All right. Is everybody ready? All right. Female, African American, diagnosed age 44. 2 successful careers, actively involved, lively, vibrant, full of life and zeal, God-loving, Christian, people-loving, mother of 3, grandmother to 2. Now, allow me to tell you the story of a woman you see. Allow me to tell you this story as we begin. Her eating habits were poor, eating foods high in sodium, eating foods high in calories, eating foods high in cholesterol. Her daily activities included eating on the run, ripping and running, no time to slow down, no time to check on herself, no time to rest, no EKG, a much needed test, no time to evaluate what was really going on in her chest. Now, allow me to tell you this story of this woman, if you please. Allow me to tell you this woman's challenge of heart disease. The warning signs she saw and didn't see. The warning signs that both affect you and me. Body sluggish, that's a sign. Swollen ankles, that's a sign. Sleeping at the stop sign, that's a sign. Sleeping at the drop of a hat, now that's a sign. Hacky cold with no cough attached, that's a sign. Always tired, worn out, that's also a sign. And uncomfortable sleeping on 2 or more pillows, that's a big sign. Finally, a trip to the doctor's office for a routine check turned into a free ride, you see. A free ride by ambulance to Augusta's own university. 6 hours in ER, waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. She wondered, she cried, what would the verdict be? What would the outcome be? She prayed and she said, oh, my dear Lord, please be with me. The doctors came with papers of all sorts and gave this woman their finding, their reports. Ma'am, you have CHF, congestive heart failure. Now, from no pills to 8 pills a day and a large heart, looking at this woman in her everyday walk, who would have thought? Female, African American, diagnosed at age 44. 2 successful careers, actively involved, lively, vibrant, energetic, full of life and zeal, God-loving, Christian, people-loving, mother of 3, grandmother to 2. Now, I've told you a story of heart disease. I've given you a true story that you can be encouraged, motivated, be aware to get your heart checked. Now, allow me to take you on a journey of some facts, information, so you can prevent a heart attack. Eat healthy, rest, exercise, don't stress, relax. This message is a challenge for you to get healthy and make today your start. People understand. I'm trying to make a point at a very slow pace because, as you know, heart disease has no face. Again, get healthy, get your heart checked. I'm delivering her message to you. This woman's story is her God-loving testimony. This is her part. Because on June 24th, 2010, her life did not end. By God's grace and mercy, by her doctor, Dr. Holman said, she is given a brand new start. Because, ladies and gentlemen, I'm the woman in the story. The woman in the story with the defibrillator planted next to my heart.
Wow. Wow. Whew. That's powerful. And that's
Very
why
powerful.
I had to have you on, because you know firsthand what it's like, the signs, the symptoms, and all of that stuff you said. It sounds like you're talking about me. The lack of sleep, the sluggishness. And I've always been a get up and go, always run, 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 run. But that's not good. And so you ignore signs. You ignore the subtle signs like, hey, slow down.
Slow down.
Stop. And you just keep going
and going. And what we tend to do as females, we tend to self-diagnose. Okay, as I was telling that story, I thought that I was a bit overweight, so I figured, okay, well, I'll go ahead and get in the gym and did that. I said, wow, I'm so tired. I was just going from my house to the mailbox and I was out of breath. Oh, I'm just a little overweight. So I went to, would start joining the gym. I'd be with some friends and we'd be hanging out and they would be having a good time and I'd be sitting at the table sleep. Little simple things like that. Like I said, sleeping at the stop sign, where there's supposed to be a stop light. It's a stop sign. So what happened was I had this cough this one particular day. And I never forget. And my friend said, let's go to the hospital. And I said, okay. At the time when I got there, the doctor listened to my heart and immediately put me in an ambulance. And they sent me to the hospital. And he said that I had it for about 4 years.
Oh, wow.
He said, it's a wonder I didn't have a heart attack, cardiac arrest. Most times that I find in my research and reading different things, most people have a heart attack. They have an underlying heart condition they didn't know about. Or us as women, when we go and get a physical, we never get EKG. We never go that step. Had I got that, I would have known something was irregular. Something, because just the shortness of breath, that's just, that's just a little bit much. I'm going from your door to the mailbox and you're out of breath like, so that was a sign. A lot of the signs I had ignored. And I'll be all right. You're so into taking care of the kids, taking care of the husband, significant other. I'll be all right. I'll take some medicine. And then I never could get comfortable when I was sleeping. I never could get comfortable. So what I found out, it was the fluid. The fluid that came from the sodium, that's what was coming up. That's why I couldn't sleep. That's why I couldn't lay flat. So that was that fluid. So when I got to the hospital, they set me up and they gave me Lasix, but they gave it through an IV. And I went to I know I must have, excuse my expression, I must have peed about 6 buckets. I'm talking big buckets of fluid. And that much fluid came out of me in those hours. And I was so scared because I didn't know what was going on. So at the time, I never forget the time, June 24th, and Dr. Holman was the first doctor. And this is why I love him so very much. His wife is a beautiful person. It's Frances Holman. But Dr. Michael Holman said, so he said, with God's grace and mercy, we're going to get you help. And that's the first time a doctor had ever reached out and ever said anything like that. I've never heard a doctor talk, bring God into the picture. And I said, what? And at that time, back in 2010, I was getting ready to have this big event, and I had to wear this particular dress that was a, heart, what do you call that? Sweetheart. And I said, oh, I can't do that. He said, so it's your beauty or your life. Which one's going to be? I said, you talking about sticking a defibrillator in me? Like a scar, it's going to have this big, and I don't mind sharing, but I have a defibrillator. And I was just like, oh my gosh, it's going to be ugly. It's going to be ugly scar. Okay, so moving forward, I ended up having the surgery November 18th, 2010. I had to wait until my event was over. I had the surgery, and I had to take it easy. I got defibrillator implanted. Then after that, I went on to, it's 8 years. You have to get a defibrillator every 8 years. So I got the new model. I got a new model in 2018. I got to upgrade. Okay. I got to upgrade in 2018. I got a 2018 model. So I don't have the 2010 model anymore. So they had to take that one out, put another one in. And I was a little scared. I had it done in the summer because, your body heals better when you have surgery in the summer as opposed to the winter months. So I had it done in the summer, July. Again, it was July 2018. And, it was when, I tell you what was the hardest part for me. Actually, this is the first time I've ever done a podcast. So thank you so much. The first time I spoke at the American for Go Red for Women was a couple of weeks ago at where was that at Good Shepherd. At Good Shepherd. That was the first time I did this folklore piece. I've done it in church a couple of times, but I never really embraced it. I was afraid that like people would say, "Dang, so something wrong with Soul. She's sick." People they you have this stigma. I do everything. I exercise. I do everything. But I know my limits. You got to know your limits. I know that I love pizza, but pizza don't love me. It is not my friend. It's not my heart friend. Right. So I can't eat pizza because it's full of sodium. When I say probably about 10 years ago, I used to love ramen noodles. That's 800 milligrams of salt. Yeah, I knew that. I can't eat ramen noodles. My doctor says no, nothing in a can. Oh. No Nothing that has to be warmed up in the microwave can I eat. And definitely nothing in a can because it sits in sodium. So I can't have anything like that.
Oh, Jesus.
I know. And I was one of those cans, season it up, get down.
Me too. I put season in it too.
I can make them cans say real good. But I had to leave that alone too. I had to leave the canned food alone. And I love, the little Michelinas, the little meals, and leave those alone too. And during the holidays, I know that when I eat something, and the Lasix is a pill that is not, it's not the friendliest medicine because it will make you go to the bathroom, and it's called Lasix. And 6 on the end of that means 6 hours of going to the bathroom, and it will release all the fluid in your body. And behind that, you have to take 2 potassium pills because it will draw all of the moisture out your body, and it will leave your kidneys not in a good way. So you have to take the potassium in a banana. You got to have a banana if you're not going to take the potassium pills. So that was a lifestyle change. Me taking 8 pills a day, carrying around a little pill package. But I do it, and of course I have to take a blood thinner. And when I had surgery, I don't mind saying when I've had surgeries, major female surgeries, I had to come off of the blood thinner because of the surgery for a couple of days. But, I have to have the blood thinner to thin out the blood so the blood doesn't clot. Because, I don't have what needs to be done. So my function of my heart at the time was at 20%. Oh, my. Not good. Not good at all. I'm a little bit more than that now. I'm not at 100%, but I'm way over. I'm over the 50% mark, which is good. And that came with exercise, and it came with me cutting back on the foods I love, like pizza. I keep saying pizza. I have to be careful. Now, if I happen to go to a fast food restaurant that I love, I love some, chicken sandwich, good old chicken sandwich. I know that maybe I need to take 2 Lasix pills, and I have to be very, very careful because, again, that pulls a lot of fluid off. And I have to just monitor because there's nothing you can eat that doesn't have sodium. Everything has sodium. Your salad dressings, even if you don't use salt, if you don't use seasoning, there's still sodium, some form of sodium in everything that you eat. So you just got to be careful because, like I said, I had no warning sign. Well, I did have the warning signs, and I ignored them. They were just coming at me, and I was ignoring. No one in my family has heart disease. No one in my family has heart disease. Now I'm gonna tell you where they think it started. My doctor says that he thinks it started, he was just going back in my history. And I can kind of remember when I had strep throat. Strep throat is not your friend. Strep throat, what happens with strep throat, the bacteria runs down onto the heart muscle and damages. Because, sometimes with strep throat, we don't go to the doctor. We'll go ahead and self-diagnose ourselves. And, I'll be all right. I'll just take this and this and this. Medicate yourself. And they think that was one of the causes and I ignored it. And it got really bad, and I ignored it. Strep. So when you get sick, please go to the doctor. I encourage you, please go to the doctor because it was I just caught it in time. God just saved me. Thank you. I caught it in time, and I have to share the message with our African American women. It doesn't matter what age. This can happen at any age. It can happen at 18. It can happen at 88. It can happen at 98, 108. It can happen at any age. But we got to take care. You got to take care of your heart. Heart health is very, very important. So, we just have to cut back. And exercise doesn't mean, I want to say this, exercise doesn't mean go get a gym membership because you get that and you pay for it and you still don't go.
That's
all right.
Absolutely.
You get excited when you're signing them papers.
Absolutely.
You come the first week, you in the mode, first of the year. First of the year, you start the gym membership. By about March, April, you taper off. By the summertime, you don't have no time.
That's right.
By the fall again, it's almost time for them holidays to come in, and and they still getting your money every month. So if you want to be serious about it, get you a trainer. Go with someone. Get you a personal trainer. I work with a lady, and I plan to get back to her, Gloria Hamilton. Let me tell you, Gloria will do a individual. You're going to pay a little bit more money, one-on-one, or she'll do the boot camp. And the boot camp is very, very affordable for 6 weeks. And I'm going to tell you, you can do 3 days a week. She has the times listed. And you work with a bunch of other women that are all striving to do the same thing. All different body sizes, body shapes. But her thing is getting you healthy. But I have learned over the years with this heart disease, it's all what I put right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So sometimes I look and I'm like, oh, I want that. I love nachos, but nachos don't love me. And I have to eat it in moderation. So don't think that I don't eat some things. I do. Yeah. I just have to eat in moderation and not as much of it that I used to eat. And like I said, we don't have any salt in the house at all. We do all seasoning powders. And I've had to learn how to cook different. Yeah. I love seafood. I love tilapia, which is the fish that came up all of a sudden. I never knew about it. Right, exactly. Right, that's because it wasn't around when we were children. It was not around. It wasn't around. It was not around. I bake a lot. I don't fry a lot. And I love you love fried. Yes, I do a lot of baking, a lot of broiling. Yeah. And and again, it's a lifestyle change. It is. It's a lifestyle change. Does anyone have any questions? Do you have any questions?
And that's the thing, I think, really encouraging one another, because a lot of times we'll suffer in silence and we won't share our stories and our testimonies. And it's really not about us. If we're still here, it's about helping somebody else. It's about sharing the information, sharing the wisdom, sharing the knowledge, saying, hey, girl, don't do that. And even sometimes we don't listen because, like I said, Yvette and everybody stays on me if I'm at their house or if I'm out and she's like, you don't need that. You don't even taste your food. But it's habit. It's habit. But she was like, all right now, and she said it. All right now, I've been through congestive heart failure. It's not fun. And you kind of have to just stop and take a minute to think about, okay, I'm damaging my body. We already have so many disadvantages as African Americans, whether that's, heart disease or diabetes or what they call sugar, hypertension, all of those things that affect our communities. And a lot of times we ignore the signs, because I know I did all those signs you mentioned. The cough, I've had a cough for 2 months straight. And I kept saying, what in the world is this? I'm taking Theraflu. Yeah, but you didn't have a cold. Right. And so I'm like, it's not going away. It's the fluid. It's not going away. And getting tired, just walking around the house or I walked 4 loops around my neighborhood. I was doing real good. And all of a sudden, I just couldn't do it no more. Yeah. Like, what in the world? Yeah. I was like, okay, I'm going to take a break. And then all of a sudden, I'm in the emergency room. So, really paying attention to your body, listening when something is out of order, something's out of whack, that's a sign to go get checked. I don't care how minuscule it is. I don't care if it seems like something that it's not. Just go, because you just never know. Correct. And I'm grateful that I wasn't as hard-headed and stubborn as I used to be. And went, because it'll been a time I was like, it'll go away eventually, and not gone. But I'm trying to be more proactive and trying to practice what I preach. All right. And so that's the whole key to doing this, the podcast, and talking about it. This is that time of the year where it is. We focus on women, go red for women, and so I'm glad that you're here to share. We do a Q&A, and it's after the podcast, because sometimes people just don't want to be transparent when it's a lot of people that may be watching. That was my problem too, Tonya. Yeah. I did, as a radio personality, as a teacher in the community, as a wife, as a mom, I didn't want to share my story because I was afraid of the stigma. People would say, and certain things that I wore. I never forget when I got married to Matthew. I went and I wanted this gown, and my 2 friends, they talked me into this gown, and they were ready for me to get the gown. And when I got the gown, I was like, well, I said, I don't want to show my scar because, it's a little unsightly, and I was afraid. So what happened, I went to David's Bridal, and I bought, my ladies, I love them so much that, they were like, well, this is our gift to you. So they got me the dress. And when I got the dress, and it was just so beautiful, I was like, but this scar, and it was a sweetheart type, strapless. And I said, what am I going to do? And they brought the lady from the back, who was a seamstress. And she says, I'm going to fix this for you because I have defibrillator also. Oh, wow. And we just started crying there at David's Bridal. So she took, how they have the belt. She took that and put it across. And so I wouldn't feel so. That was in 2015 when I got married. She put the belt across and stitched it into the dress, and it looked just like the rest of the gown. And
And then after that, people start saying, "So just share your story.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid." I'm always, Matthew always says, "Baby," he said, "ain't nobody looking at that scar." And I had to get comfortable with it because I was really afraid. I was really afraid to share my story, let people see, because it's bulky. It's like a little box sitting up there, like a big Lego sitting up there. And he said, "Ain't nobody thinking about that." He said, "Just it is. If people ask you, just tell them. Tell them what it is." And the defibrillator is a kind of upgrade from what they call a pacemaker. Because it has chambers. It does the defibrillator side. And so what would happen if I were going cardiac arrest, instead of them putting the thing on me saying clear, this would automatically kick in and it would restart my heart. So I basically got my own clear right here.
Right.
So I tell them at school and places I go, I don't need them to, if they have to resuscitate me, this will kick. And it has not, in the 10 years, I have not got kicked by it, because some people, like, if you get into an altercation with someone or your heart rate goes up, it will do that.
Oh, wow.
Even when I'm exercising, she still puts me to a point where I'm not going over, because I have my Fitbit. I don't go over where I'm supposed to, but I've never had it to have to kick me or reset itself. I never had that done, but I have some challenges when I go to the airport. I have to be the one with the little car, and I have to go to the side, and you get that. Even here in the municipal building, here in Augusta, Georgia, I've been there so many times through the marshal's department, through the courthouse, and they say, "Oh, just come on through," but they're insensitive to understand. I can't go through that magnet because it'll set it off, and then I have to go find Dr. Clark wherever he is. Not Joe Clark, but Dr. Clark. Wherever he is, and they have to go back into the office, because Dr. Holman doesn't do that portion of it, to have it reset, because it'll go off like a blaring sound, and I had the sound change, so I had the European siren on here, so I had the sound change so I would know, because I go places and I'll be like, "What is that?" And we hear these noises. He says, "Is that your name?" So I had the sound change. So that siren they have in Europe, where they have the like the police sound, it has a different sound. That's the sound I had. So are we in Europe or we in the United States? But anyway, so I had to change to that sound. And they right before I was getting ready to get it done, they were checking the battery life. And as they were like, I had it done in June 24th. So when I had it done, like in May of 2018, they were checking. They said, "Okay," because insurance won't pay for it if it hasn't been in that 8-year mark.
Oh, wow.
So I had to wait until the battery life was almost at 0 before they would pay for it.
Oh, wow.
So it's a big thing with insurance. And when I tell you, it is so expensive. It's it's like the price of a house.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's very, very expensive. Thank God for a good job and health insurance.
Amen.
Thank God, Richmond County school system. Thank you so much for my husband's job, graphic packaging, for the great insurance. I had to use both of them. But thank God for that. Thank God for that, because I feel for people that don't have the adequate health insurance and have to have something like this done. How would they have it done?
Right.
So I have to be obedient to it. But I do exercise. I do a lot of things. I do a lot of things now. It's a little simple things, like at work, I wear a magnetic name tag. I have to put it on this side. I can't put it on that side. My phone, you know how we're sitting at home sometimes, we have our phone right here. Can't put it on this side. I got to put it on that side, because it's magnetic power to it. No, yes, I can't go close to the microwave, so I don't have any problem with that. That's an old. It's an old myth. Right. But like going through TSA, I can't go through there. And I tell them, and I do have a card for Medtronics that says that. So I don't care what anybody says, Richmond County Sheriff Department, the Marshal Department, I'm not going through.
Right.
I'm obedient to that. And then when I go through TSA, I get patted down. So it'll take a little longer, because they got to pat me all the way down. But I don't mind.
So you just take that extra time.
I just take extra time.
Because you need to make sure you're good.
Yeah. And I have, before I get on a plane, before I get on a cruise ship. So I know what my limitations are. Right. And they say, "Well, this is only this amount of percent." And I would say, "Sir, do you have a defibrillator?" Right. No, but who told you that? Right. Yeah. Because, you're out of town. You don't want to take that chance. Right. And that thing Blair and my husband won't take that chance. Right. No, we won't be getting on no ship. Right. No, with that thing going on. Okay, trip canceled. We will be staying home. So there's some minor adjustments I've had to make. But nothing is like
being here still.
Right.
So
I love
whatever
being here.
you have to do,
whatever I have to
whatever we have to do to make sure that we're on this side and not the other.
Yes.
As long as we can.
Yes.
I had a lot of people calling me saying, Tonia, we don't need you to go anywhere. I said, who you think trying to go somewhere? We're not trying to go nowhere.
We ain't trying to go nowhere.
No,
Okay.
I got too much stuff to do.
We got
Lord
too much
has
to
given
do.
me too much stuff to do. I'm not going nowhere. So tonight we are thankful for Miss Selena Soul Davis talking to us about women and our heart. You know, we have to protect our heart at all costs. That means from a healthy lifestyle perspective. That means from however we eat, how we exercising, how we taking care and watching out for those signs. So women, go get checked. Even if it's, you know, something that's small or think is small, go get it checked. And we have to start getting physicals on an annual basis.
Right.
You get, you know, the mammogram every year. You get the women check every year. So add your heart to the list and make sure that you're protected, that you're safe. And if you do have something on, they can catch it early. Instead of us, we're always reactive instead of proactive. So be proactive with your heart, be proactive with your health. Thank you, Miss Selena, for joining us on today's podcast.
Yes, love it.
And
love it.
We are so grateful for you guys joining us today. We'll see you back in 2 weeks. We're going to close out for our Q&A session for those that are here live and in person. And for those of you that are not, thank you for joining us via YouTube Live. And you can come back and watch this segment again if you like. Share it with your friends and your family. And at the end of the day, take care of you, take care of your heart. Have a good evening. Okay, that's it.